Now to a story we followed since its inception 4 years ago. That's the program known as StrikeForce for rural growth across the U.S.
In today's follow-up, we get a look at the work being done in Georgia and 19 other states through the efforts of the USDA. It is designed to help give high-priority assistance to underserved farmers and communities in counties with persistent poverty. It has been 4 years since the Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, rolled out the StrikeForce for Rural Growth and Opportunity through the USDA.
That's why we're trying to expand this opportunity in other states so we can send the message that USDA is focused not just on places where there's been prosperity recently in rural areas, but also focusing on trying to address the challenge of persistent poverty.
And as you probably know, the effort focuses aid for rural communities in 20 states, including Georgia. In fact, Georgia was one of the pilot states.
As, I guess, an intensified outreach campaign to see if we could not marshal the resources of the various USDA organizations throughout the state and couple that with community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, municipalities in persistent poverty counties. To increase awareness and to make folks in those communities aware of what resources are already available. And really that's the impetus behind StrikeForce.
Greg Kist, Georgia's acting state conservationist, told us there are a number of needs in the 60-county StrikeForce region in this state.
Well, I think there's a number of needs, resource concerns as we call them, across the area. In these persistent poverty counties, I think one of the major needs is water quality. What is the quality of the water as it's leaving the farm fields, if it's leaving the feed lot where you've got your livestock and those sort of things. So we want to make sure that that quality is to the best quality it possibly can be, and it's not going to be a pollutant source into the waters of the state or the waters of the United States. Also just trying to work with those landowners on water quantity, work with them on the irrigation issues, help them to maximize the efficiency of the use of that water, and make sure they have the opportunity then to continue to use that water from wells or from the surface waters of the state.
Kist said you may have noticed that the Farm Bill has in it a new conservation program, which some say will revolutionize the way soil and water conservation programs are carried out. Not to mention $1.5 million under the StrikeForce plan.
Address the StrikeForce initiative in those 60 counties. It will only be used in those 60 counties. It will not be used in any other part of the state. I mentioned before that we've got 35% of the applicants typically get funded. That $1.5 million will help to raise that number up significantly in the StrikeForce counties and to address those folks. And we're going to help them with their conservation needs. So it may be working with a landowner on their nutrient management needs, managing their manure to make sure that their livestock manure doesn't run off the farm, work with them on their pasture management, may work with them on their irrigation efficiency, helping them with that, the water quality to make sure that the nutrients that they place on the field to grow their crop stays on the field and doesn't run off. And then also the cover crops, making sure that they've got good cover on the soil at all times, and to make sure that they've got the landowners are able to make a profit off of that.
Brian Zuko is the management analyst with rural development in Georgia. He said the StrikeForce program is needed because many rural communities simply are suffering economically.
So we have the most diverse portfolio when it comes to, enriching the lives of those throughout rural America. One stat that the Secretary Vilsack has brought up time in and time out that I think is very significant in understanding why we're doing this is that 85% of all persistent poverty exists in rural America. So when you take that into consideration of the task we have at hand, going from 3 to 20 states, we're doing a darn good job.
David Laster believes the 4-year-old program has been successful because of the multi-agency involvement.
I guess I would focus on the fact that it is a broad-based initiative. It's not simply a USDA initiative. We try to garner partners and really leveraging the resources because StrikeForce is really an outreach effort. There is no StrikeForce project per se because there's no dollars tied to StrikeForce. But the real effort is to increase awareness, if we can provide technical assistance and some of those things with our partners, and we have a good many partners on board that are working on this effort. So I think it's been beneficial.